Hello and welcome. Tuesday noon, our usual time to have a conversation with the earth. And I had a Facebook post where something interesting happened for me that people talked about humans having instinct. And that baffled me a little bit. And so I thought, let's talk about this today. And I Googled it, and I pulled up a few things. And I want to share them with you just so we are all starting on the same page.
Yeah.
One post says, like all animals, humans have instincts, genetically hardwired behaviors that enhance our ability to cope with vital environmental contingencies. Our innate fear of snakes is an example. Other instincts include denial, revenge, tribal loyalty, greed, and our urge to procreate now threaten our very existence. What I found interesting that loneliness and boredom are listed as one of the types of natural instincts. So where are we? It really fear of snakes. I'm sorry, I must be from the wrong planet because I don't have a fear of snakes. I have respect of a snake. I would not try to handle a rattlesnake because I respect the fact that I could be bitten and might be anywhere between painful to deadly. But I'm not afraid of snakes. And so my question is, how much have we bought the idea of instinct, humans having instinct, as an excuse of not having choice? What do you think?
Yeah. 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 That reads really like instinct is an energy that's really forced energy, as I can't do anything about it. I needed to do that. That was my instinct, as there is no choice. There is no choice. And speaking about that fear for snakes, I'm going to speak about fear in general
Okay.
for animals. Like, I bought it for years of my mom. Fear of every animal, little, big, wild. It didn't matter. It was fear for animals. And there was no choice, as that closed the door for any awareness, for any awareness. So my instinct from that fear was attacking.
Okay. Yeah.
Was attacking. Even when it was a spider, I needed to kill it because it, the fear was so big that it couldn't come near me. So that was I saw other people also running away from it, but attacking was some energy for me from wherever it came. It doesn't matter, but that no choice, that excluding of everything, that was so present in it. While now I stepped out of buying that and becoming more present and aware. Yes, when I will see a snake, I will not approach me directly. But as you mentioned, the respect and being present, and I think I would speak to it also.
Yeah.
Going in question, whatever. Yeah, and it's a little bit same perhaps for many people who is going to conversate with a snake, but it's all energy. It's energetically.
Yeah.
So yeah, it reads for me. And what it brings up also the how much abuse there is, use and abuse there is from the point of view of instinct.
Yeah, I would agree. And especially, like, one of the items that I read is that revenge is an instinct.
Wow.
Uh, is that basically giving carte blanche for taking revenge on something?
Wow.
And I have to be honest that I'm not aware of animals taking revenge. I mean, see, I spend a lot of time in Yellowstone and also therefore follow what is going on in Yellowstone. And there was this summer, there was the story of, oh, this woman got gored by a buffalo. And actually, she didn't get gored. Secondly, she was a pain in the butt, uh, pestering the buffalo. And the buffalo basically hooked his horn into the belt on the jeans of the woman and flung her around. And it ripped. And so the woman got flung away. And I can absolutely understand, even as a person, if somebody is pestering me, I'm ready to whack them one and say,
Yeah.
get off my butt,
Yeah.
you know? So are we blaming an animal for doing the same thing?
Yeah. Yeah, there you mentioned something. How often I hear it, and it's like we humans, we can do whatever we want, but an animal doesn't. An animal is dangerous.
Yeah,
But who, in the end, is the most dangerous form of living on Earth? Could it be humans?
it's the humans. And I just can confirm what you're saying because in the last 2 years, I noticed that in an area where I always saw at least elk, if not also buffalo, I didn't see any animals. And so
Mm,
I asked, so where are you guys? What's going on? Uh, we're hiding. We're tired of stupid people and them making life difficult for us. And all I can say, having watched those stupid people in quotation marks, uh, I get you guys. You know, I would love to
yeah.
see you, and I get you guys. So have a good life in wherever you are.
I, I, I heard something really interesting. Oh, the internet is going wonky.
That's okay for me.
Interesting. Yes, there you are back. I couldn't see you, so okay. The, I think it was last week I was listening to a podcast of Simone Milas's with, I can't remember the names, but it was about this communication also with animals and plants and when they appear as like snakes or so to speak danger animals. And something catched me in that they were speaking about in which way the animal has more fear of us, and we tap into the fear of the animal as though it is our fear.
Yeah.
And that was something that was really messing with me, like, yeah, what if that was also the start of my mother's?
Mm.
Yeah, fear
Yeah.
of the animal, that she was so aware. And she was aware, but she would never, yeah, allowed her to be aware because it
Mhm.
was, yeah, not allowed.
Yeah.
Point.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, and that brings up a complete other energy. So we are speaking about now the instinct. Could it be that underneath the energy of not acknowledged awareness brings people into the instinct, which is, yeah, allowed.
Mhm.
Instinct is allowed,
Yeah.
awareness isn't.
Yeah. I agree. And you saying that also brought back something when I was working with rites of passage, which meant people were spending time alone in nature. And what we always told them is be respectful of animals, and animals know you are not there to attack them,
Mm,
to harm them,
mm-hmm.
to any of that. And all the stories of animal encounters were basically the animal being, let's say you are in a slot canyon and you lock the animal in there with being having your space at the open end of the slot canyon, and the animal basically saying, hey, get out of my way, I want to get out. The moment the person got that and acted upon it, everything was fine.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, and there were so many of the incidences when, as I said, when there was an encounter, that if people were willing to really become aware of what the animal was communicating, that and acted on it, not a problem.
yeah, yeah. And that you can see when you see documentaries where people are going really in respect, in honor, with kindness into interaction with the animal. And then, yeah, and it's, isn't it still seen as exceptional, as some gift? Those people who are showing that it is possible.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's something that comes up now. So, yeah, how much is that seen as a special gift you have with animals, instead of acknowledging that we all can be
Could
in that
choose,
communion?
could
Yeah,
choose being that. Yes.
choosing. Yeah,
Yeah.
choosing.
And yeah, maybe it comes easier for one person than for another. And I just need to look at my life. If you would have told me 5, 10 years ago that I would communicate with animals, uh, that's for those special ones. That's not me.
Yeah, but at the
But
same time,
I am here now because
yeah,
I
and
told
and
you
and also, Corinna, could it be that at the same time you were all along
it. Yeah.
communicating with animals that you didn't acknowledge? Why do I say this? Is in the time I was working with tarot cards and several type of
Mhm.
cards, the message through the cards that came was so often as my gift in communicating with animals. And I never could relate to it because of my fear for every animal. So it
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
make sense. It didn't make sense. Now, where I'm today, I can see, but I was communicating. I acted to maintain that fear that I bought,
Mhm.
but I was communicating. And I couldn't, yeah, nearly acknowledging it because my acts were the opposite.
Yeah.
And as I speak it out loud now, it's like, whoa,
Yeah,
even
but
more
that's
acknowledging.
where we create our own blinders.
Yeah,
Because we think this is how it is, therefore we have the blinders and then cannot acknowledge. That's how we create our limitations.
yeah.
Instead
And the
of
separation.
yeah, instead
Yeah,
of letting go of the blinders and really looking at what is.
yeah. And can it be as today for you also, you can acknowledge now in which way you communicate with animals and
Mhm.
you are communicating with animals. And is it also, did you also acknowledge what is you have in communicating with them?
What do you mean with that?
Somehow in our conversations we have, I perceive and receive from what you are telling from you the energy of ease in of communication, of
Mm,
communion also with the animals.
yeah, yeah.
You know, as speaking, you couldn't imagine that you would do it a few years ago. And today it is.
It is,
And you acknowledge it.
and it's even
And at the same time, that ease, Corinna, that ease.
and because you say this, it is so funny. I just realized I read this morning a friend posted on Facebook taking a walk as it was getting dark with her dog. And then, as a sudden, hearing coyotes left and right off the road. And she decided, maybe better if we turn, as a sudden making noise, yupping and barking. And so she decided it might be better to turn around and go back home, which is something I definitely would have done years ago. And so she said, as soon as they started the other direction, the barking and yapping stopped. And so she wondered if they wanted to attack her dog. And then she wondered if they may have had a kill and were excited about it and communicating that about it. And when I was just present with the story she wrote, what I got is that they were basically warning the dog not to interfere with their kill,
Yeah,
because that would be the likeliest competitor that could, do something. And it was so interestingly, it was so clear that that was the energy of the
yeah,
story. Is this is stay away? Okay, you're going away. Fine.
yeah.
So they stopped.
That
And
does, yeah,
that
go on.
that's the ease that you were talking about that I'm getting now. And it was so obvious for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and that remembers me 2 years ago, I believe it was. I was walking on the street and passing a house, and the dogs ran in the front of the gate and barking, barking like as you don't enter here. You know that
Mhm.
really
Yeah.
anger. And I can remember that suddenly it was not out loud. I said to them, yes, I know you are doing really well your job. As they were trained to defend,
Hmm.
and then they turned around and they went off like, whoa. And now it amazed me at that time, but I couldn't acknowledge that it was only I recognized at
You
that
acknowledge
time,
them.
yeah, acknowledge them. And with your story now, listening that image and um, remember me that it was. So even at that time, I didn't acknowledge also in which way I communicate with animals, even though I did it. So, and how many times is it that we are also in communion already with or nature or our body or whatever, but we are talking us out of it. We are thinking us out of it.
It doesn't make logical sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And therefore, it cannot exist.
yeah.
How much are we actually limiting what we are able to do, the capacities that we have, because they do not make sense from this reality's perspective.
Yeah,
And the question that I have, I mean, I'm challenging myself with that. What else is possible? And also asking people is so, what if that is not it? What else is possible then?
yeah. And what is possible in changing that, as we see
Mm-hmm.
in school also, from the start, we learn this animal is safe, that animal is dangerous. This animal you can approach, this animal you can't. And then often zoos also
Yeah.
are putting us really in that fear factor and that dangerous factor. And we aren't learned to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
It's not part of our education, not in the family, not in school, not in community. It isn't. So what would it take if we could turn that around?
What would it take? So what just flashed for me is very early on, I think it was my first travel to life access class. And I was checking into the motel, and there was somebody else who had a pit bull. And, pit bull brings up certain things according to this reality.
Yeah,
And so I was, how can you bring a pit bull to class, and da 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 da, all the judgments, all the conclusions, all of
yeah,
what came
as we normally do.
bubbling up. And I really got to meet that pit bull. God, was that pit bull sweet with the kids. And what I realized on that level, how often is the pit bull imprinted with the
Yeah,
energy of the owner. The owner is aggressive, therefore the pit bull is aggressive.
yeah,
The owner doesn't like kids, therefore the pit bull attacks kids.
yeah,
Because the animal, and it doesn't matter if it's a pit bull or a poodle
yeah,
or anything, a dachshund, they pick up the energy of their owners.
yeah,
And what if people aren't allowed to, and I'm hypothesizing now, to have animals if they have aggressive feelings?
yeah. Yeah, once a dog carer said to me, there is no dog dangerous, not one. It depends on
On the
how
owner.
it's treated.
Yeah.
how it's, yeah, yeah. But isn't it the same also? There are only dogs. There are dogs considered dangerous. There are dogs considered whatever. So they are imprinted, and even before their life start, they have to act on the definitions, on the judgments. In general, they are put it on.
Yeah. How much are we creating them that way?
Yeah,
Because we have those expectations.
yeah. As we do with our own race, also, like, yeah, when there is a born child, how much is already projected on that child from the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really insane when you go into that. That is insane.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the normal act we do. And I did it also, but now becoming more present with that and really getting how limited life becomes from the start there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would it take really to change the limitations, the definitions, the structures, the forms? Hmm.
Yep.
And what is available now? Because that's something I got clear for me today. Like, I'm really, I have a detox day, as I called it. It's like a shift, a big shift we went through, and yeah, there is no form, structure, definition. I don't want to put words on it. It's more than one energy I can perceive. And it's like, yeah, to go with that because it's light, it's happiness, it's limitless. I letting go of so many limitations, I put it on to my body. As I go with my
Yeah.
body, yes, let us go. It's time now. We don't need those limitations anymore. We don't need them.
And even in a very simple, what I have become aware, and I just remembered that, how much is our body letting go of the past?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For me, it is.
Because years ago, I at a haircut, the person was cutting me on the ear. And so you get this a scab, and hadn't had it, but recently I'm having this scab here that is coming off. And I said, what the heck? I
Yeah,
haven't been cut there. I've
yeah,
only been cut there way back when. What if
yeah,
my ear is, so to speak, letting go of that, let's call it in quotation marks, trauma, and just shedding it?
yeah. It is something I can relate to because I see it for myself. I see it with my partner. There are some stuff,
Yeah.
issues with the body of the past
That.
that's coming to the surface and can let go of. And that's something for me today was really clear. Like, it is letting go. It's not curing. It's not creating again. It's not recycling the
Yeah.
the the
It's
wound.
really letting
It
go.
real Yeah, it really is, oh, dropping off.
We're done with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore. And how much is our body also showing us it doesn't exist anymore? That was what you were living.
Yeah.
That's not the true you or the true me. The body is, yeah, it
Or
doesn't exist.
it's not valid anymore because, how much are we changing? over time and making different choices. And yes, we make choices, the body responds to those choices. But when we start making totally different choices, is there a way for the body to get out of that loop?
Yeah.
And is that what we're doing right now?
Yeah. And is it that what we see also with earth and nature as the change going through? But it's not any time it was going back to creating again the same thing. It let goes of and it generates it into something new. What is required at that time? And aren't that the seasons? Some of the energy of the seasonal changes become more clear for me now also, as it looked like, or we were learned that it's the conjunction of the season, but then it starts every time again. That's how I learned it. After that comes that and that and that, and every year it's the same. It's the same seasons, the same, as though it is the same that's coming back, and it's not. It's never the same. And what is earth showing us now with this change in the seasons, as the seasons aren't any longer certain as it was for many years? What is the earth showing us? Isn't it really shaking us like, what the heck? Stop with those definitions. It's nothing of that.
And it's not in our
be
interest.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot more we can explore on that level.
Yes.
Let's see where we go next week. What's up? What crops up?
What's coming up?
So,
I'm sure there will be nothing to talk about next week. All is already seen, done.
Yeah. We've exhausted the subject. I know.
Oh, and how is it going with the membership is starting also, isn't it?
We'll see where that goes, and I may have to postpone the actual membership opening to get a little bit more information and maybe rewrite or whatsoever. We'll see. I mean, nothing is
the elections took a lot out of the energy and put it in. But that's gone also. That's gone. We stepped in something new. Okay, let's do that.
Everybody till next week. Have a great
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.